few more minutes, we're going to get started with Bill from Happy Baby Signs with a demo about signing with your baby. Yes, we are going to post all the links for you guys. And if you guys have questions, welcome, because we know we have new people joining us in. If you can put your questions down into the Q&A, feel free to share where you're from right now. We have people joining us from all over the place. And we're really excited to be sharing with you guys. So I'm gonna put my mouth to the close place and then let Lou and Bill get started because 11:45 is our go time. But
yeah.
I'm in the chat.
Perfect. Bill, are you there?
I'm there, but when I go to start my video, it says unable to start video. You can't start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, okay. Dominique, is that something that you could?
I think I fixed it. Yeah, you should be able to now, Bill.
Okay, I'm back in the
there
flesh.
He is.
Yay.
All right. Well, on that note, Bill, you're a man who doesn't need an introduction, in my opinion. And you could probably do it better yourself. So I'm gonna, I'll mute and stop my share. Dominique, did you want me to remain on the chat, or did you want to cover that until I come back later on?
I can cover the chat till you come back.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's great because so you're going to be watching for Q&A that comes up, and you'll be sort of managing me for me. Thank you so much. I need all the managers I can get.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I will see everyone around 2:45 for our questions and answers on hiring a doula segment. So I hope you guys all have a lovely afternoon and are able to catch some of the yoga programming that's coming up after Bill. And Bill, have a delightful session. I know you will.
Thank you so much, Lou. You know who loves you, baby.
Yeah.
All right. I saw that earlier. Okay. And Ulani, I see that you're on here. Now, Dominique, I don't see any of the faces, right? Do you see faces?
Right. No, we won't see faces. You're just going to everybody now.
I'm projecting. Okay,
yeah.
Great. If I paste in a link to the baby sign language link at Blossom, will they get it if I post it to all everybody?
Yeah, you can post it in the chat and everybody who is on here will be able to see it.
Beautiful. That's what I'm going to do right now. Here are 3 links, you guys. It is a link to get into the baby sign language class. And there's also a link about testimonials, stories from people that have been in our class. And I've been working at Blossom for close to like 15 years, teaching baby sign language. I've taught more than 25,000 parents in the greater Bay Area how to sign with their babies. And then they email me back about a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, sharing these exciting stories about how signing completely changed the game in raising children, not just for the first year, 2 years, or 3 years of life. I mean, this changes a lot of things, and we're going to talk about this here shortly. The next link is frequently asked questions. So if you don't hear from me today, that's a sign for today. And the way I teach is the same way I teach my dance classes. I used to dance for 30 years, jazz, tap, ballet, and signing is a moving type of thing. So I'm going to immerse you in the movements. When you see me dance, when you see me move, if you're on the other end and you got your hands free, not everybody has their hands free, you know, you can sign with one hand. But if you got 2 hands free and I sign more, do it. Because in a sign language class or a dance class, it turns into muscle memory, okay? And the more I can get you to do a dance or a sign, the more you don't have to think about it. Your hands just do it. If I can teach you to speak fluent Japanese, your child will speak Japanese if you're speaking fluent Japanese in several months. For me to learn Japanese would take years, but baby's language system is switched on full blast, and they learn language by listening with their ears and their eyes. So if you talk like this, your child will talk like that. Come on, Johnny, let's go. I don't want to go. Why does he always do this? I don't know. Why do you always do that? They just do what you do. If you sign, they'll sign. If you speak Japanese, they'll speak Japanese. If you say please and thank you all the time to your partner, they're more likely to be polite in preschool. They just do what you do. So be careful what you do, because they will repeat it at the restaurant where kids eat free on Tuesdays and all your friends are there, and they'll say something really rude because Uncle Bob was over last week and he used the F word. All right, so they just do what you do. Now, I have a very unconventional way of teaching. I just pretend, and now that we're online, it's just as if I'm sitting at your kitchen table or in your living room and just holding your hand and watching you. We've done surveys, Dominique. I do the Zoom meeting surveys, and 60 to 7% of the students are saying they prefer baby sign language classes online over face-to-face in person, for reasons that have nothing to do with a pandemic. It's reasons like they don't have to get in the car, pack the baby up, drive, park, buy gasoline, and it's just so easy. You can take classes in the comfort of your home. We used to have two prices, the price for a person and the price for an extra person. Like a partner comes, we have to charge a little bit more because the rooms at Blossom and at Kaiser Permanente or wherever I teach are limited. That's a sign for room, by the way. It's really easy. It's 4 walls, okay? However, now that we're online, I can teach more people. And if you have your partner show up or the grandmother show up, that's great. It's like we've got plenty of room online. I can fit 25 people on my screen. And now here's the other thing. You can have grandma and grandpa join the class from Denver, Colorado, New York, Madrid, Spain, Switzerland. I've got my classes now. A whole bunch of people are around the nation, and it's a great way to hang out for an hour with your family. And if I know your family's in the class, I'll pair you guys up when we break out into the breakout rooms. A lot of you by this time have gotten very familiar with Zoom meeting. And so what I'll do is on the first day, we'll teach mealtime signs. And then we'll break up into groups, and I'll give you an activity to do for 10 minutes of the hour with your little subgroup. And it might be Aunt Mary or Uncle John that's in your group, and you're laughing and you're joking. And I encourage you to socialize too. We're supposed to be keeping physically distanced during a pandemic. That's a sign for physically distancing, all right? You'll see the interpreters do that next to Gavin Newsom. Wear a mask, okay? However, we need to stay socially connected, especially new parents. We need to be connected. And one way to connect on planet Earth is through language. This is the letter L. If you put it on your forehead, you're signing loser, okay? If you bang the side of your head with an L, you're signing lettuce. You have a head of lettuce. My son loved lettuce. He'd throw the sweet potatoes on the floor when he was about 14 months old. That's the sign for I don't like sweet potatoes, by the way. And then he'll sign lettuce. And I go, oh, you want some lettuce? He's getting me to say all the words that he can't say yet for another 2 years. Babies understand verbal language. Did you know this? At around 7, 8, 9, 10 months old, they start to understand verbal language. They just can't speak verbally. Oh, that's the letter V, by the way. They can't speak verbally where you can understand them for 2 years, which is like 20 years to a little baby. Pretty soon they get their consonants. The letter T, 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 ka, ba, da, 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 ba, ba. And they'll start to sign whether you like it or not. If you don't take a baby sign language class, they're all going to start to sign. They do this for pick me up. Why do they do that? Let's see. What do you do when you go to pick them up? They do what you do. Their first sign might be this. Okay. Or this. Because we point, they point. They don't point when they're 3 weeks old. But around 6, 7, 8 months old, they'll start to go, and 9, 10 months old, they'll go ba, ba, ba. Okay, we've got a hint. It starts with the letter B, and it's over there. That could be a lot of things. That could be the bottle, the blanket, the toy Brachiosaurus dinosaur, broccoli. What are we talking about? But if they go ba, ba, and sign blanket, everybody sign blanket. Pull the blanket up. See how easy peasy, lemon squeezy this is? It is not rocket science. The sign for milk, okay? Everybody sign milk. I'm assuming you're doing it, okay? In my dance class, if you just sit and watch me dance for an hour and go around and go, oh, that's cool. Is that Michael Jackson routine? Yeah, I like it. Okay, I think I've got that routine. Show me another one, Bill. You gotta dance with me. So everybody sign milk, Okay? And your baby is not going, oh, that makes sense. It's like milking. They're not analyzing anything. They're just doing what you do. You could do this every time you breastfeed, every time your partner's bringing a bottle of milk, they're doing this sign, and they'll think that's the sign for milk. Don't do that. My deaf teacher would kill me, but I'm just trying to make a point. They learn sign language the same way they learn Farsi, Spanish, English. They just imitate you the best they can. So this is the sign for milk. Great. Dominique, if there's a question that comes in, will you field it to me? Okay, and just butt right in and let me know what's going on.
Yes,
cool.
Definitely.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Dominique, it reminded me, a little commercial break, 15-second commercial break. Who am I? I am Bill White at Happy Baby Signs. I've been teaching for about 17 years. I used to teach in the greater Bay Area from Santa Cruz all the way up to Kaiser and Santa Rosa, out to Then Comes Baby in Oakland. And now I'm teaching nationwide, worldwide, because man, online learning, it's so cool. Here's the sign for cool. Cool. Okay. I'm also the author of the book, Signs of a Happy Baby. Actually, to be honest, I'm the co-author. My wife is the co-author, Kathleen Ann Harper, and she's the author of the book, The Well-Crafted Mom. She's a life coach for women. She'll teach you how to stay sane over the next 18 years of raising children. And her publisher called up and said, we want another book. This is going so great. And she said, what can I write a book? I said, hon, why don't you write my book for me? Because I'm never going to have time. Here's all the material. So in 6 months, we worked together on this thing and we got the book out. And it's so great. The publisher called back and said, Time Magazine called us and they want to feature your book in the special edition of Time Magazine, The Science of Childhood. And so our book is a big part of this whole thing. Why our book? Because it's not only just a great book with lots of signs in there. Oh, who's that? That's Dominique. Okay. And it also has all the stories behind each sign. Plus, in every chapter, my wife put in Kathleen's coaching corner. So it doesn't just teach sign language, it teaches parenting tips, parenting skills, how to be happy about yourself as you raise children. And it's tricky. I do the same thing in my classes. I use sign language as a conduit to teach other things too, that I teach at the hospitals and at Blossom. I teach positive discipline. I teach love and logic, which is how do you raise a teenager? And you can't wait till they're 11 years old to start learning how to raise a teenager. You got to start now. That's the sign for now. In the way we communicate. Ooh, that's the letter C. Okay. So let's review. What am I signing? Milk. Good. Now. Communication. Voice. Mommy. Daddy. You got to know those. A double tap on the chin with a thumb. Tap, tap for mommy. Double tap on the forehead for daddy. Tap, tap. I'll tell you why when you get into the program. There's stories behind every sign, which makes it so easy to learn. If you're sitting home alone reading a baby sign language book on the toilet, it doesn't work, all right? Even my book, you got to get a live instructor, all right? My book is great. And if you're going to buy the book, don't buy it at Amazon, buy it at Blossom Birth. They have it for sale, okay? Help support our local Blossom Birth and family. Okay, that's the letter O, okay? And if you make a V and put your thumb in between those two fingers, it's the letter K. It's easy to do. I want to show you a video of little tiny babies using sign language. There's one baby that's signing medicine for my teeth. Medicine for my teeth. There's another baby signing more milk. It will blow you away of what they have to say if you just give them a voice. Think about this before we start the video. You've got a baby, okay, scenario 1. And they hear you say, it's time for bed, let's go in and put you to bed. They know what that means because you say it every single time you put them to bed. Talk to your kids a lot bathe them in words, okay? This has nothing to do with sign language. It has everything to do with speech acquisition and connection, all right? Language is the way we connect. They learn language by you talking. If you're not talking, they're not learning language. So there's a difference between bathing them in words and drowning them in words. And we'll talk more about that in the program. This little device here hanging on the baby, it's a little rubberized. It's like a pacifier thing, but it's really sturdy. It has a tiny little microphone. It's called a Starling unit. They use it at the Stanford Language Learning Labs to measure how many words the baby hears in a day. It has a microphone and it feeds back to an app that gives you feedback. It's kind of like a Fitbit. You think you're in shape, you're working out, you've been taking walks around the block with a stroller and your mask on, and not today because the air quality is not all that great. And then grandma buys you a Fitbit and you look at it and it says you're 2,000 steps short of your goal, which is 10,000 steps a day. So you get up and you say, we got to take another walk around the block. In science, it's not meaningful unless it's measurable. So what we do is we measure how many words the baby hears. You know how many words is really good for babies? About 10,000 words a day. Yes, here's the sign for yes, or this is the sign for yes. So what it does is it gives you bar graphs on your performance for the day. How many words have you said today? It also gives you much more. This little app gave you suggestions like, so you're short of your goal, read another book, sing another song, go to the pictures on the wall and point at the picture of Italy. That was our honeymoon. It was our favorite vacation. See the trees there? They're cypress trees. And there's a boat out there on the horizon. There's a picture of grandfather. He flew for United Airlines and he loved to ski, just like your own daddy. All right. Do you want something to eat? All right, let's get some applesauce. All right. Or do you want to go out and look at the airplane? Okay. That's the sign for airplane. And pretty soon your baby's listening and they'll start to go like this. They come in from a walk around the block with daddy. And if they don't sign, they're going, and your partner goes, oh, he's probably sleepy or he's hungry. But if he goes, oh, you saw an airplane. What color was it? They'll go like this. It was red. And they'll go like this. It's amazing how brilliant and aware they are, but we don't know that unless they can't speak to us. So give your child a voice. It changes who they are when they grow up. This baby hears you say it's time for bed and they start to cry and you're hearing, come on, an hour, we've been doing this. You're not hungry. We tried breastfeeding. We tried sweet potatoes. And the baby is shouting applesauce, but it comes out, But if they can sign apples. So scenario 2, this is your baby in a few months. It's time for bed. They go, oh, you'd like some applesauce before you go to bed? They'll go like this. Okay, let's go get some applesauce. This baby not only knows that my daddy hears me, but my daddy understands me and values what I have to say. And that changes his self-esteem when he's 37 years old, because what happens to a person the first 2 years of life has an effect on them. Right? So, and there's no redos. There's no do-overs and no pressure, but really, seriously, if you don't sign with your baby's going to be fine. They'll grow up. They'll be happy. They'll talk. They'll use words. They'll speak English and Spanish and Russian if you're speaking it. But when you give them more connection the first 2 years, it changes the game big time. It changes their social and emotional development. And there's been lots and lots of research. I had a nurse from Kaiser driving down the street. She took all 3 playgroups. The way the program works is there's an introductory workshop, and that is 90 minutes long. That's just get your feet wet. If you're expecting, if you've got a 3-week-old, a 3-month-old, that's just jump into the introductory workshop. And we've got one starting in October 24th. Okay, and it's in that link. Okay, so get into and don't wait till the last minute because the class fills up really fast. So enroll today so you don't have to wait till January because if you miss it, that's a sign for I missed it. You're gonna have to wait another couple months. And then after the introductory workshop, we have 18 playgroup sessions. And we've learned that people don't sign up for 18 playgroup sessions because it's too much of a commitment. Okay, so what we did is we break it up into little pieces. There's 6 classes, and then another 6, and then another 6 classes. We call them playgroup red, playgroup yellow, and playgroup blue. It doesn't matter which one you take first, blue, red, yellow, just jump into something. Let me show you a little sneak preview of what that looks like. Let's see. Okay, this is what it looks like. We just spread the vocabulary up evenly. So like if you're taking playgroup yellow first, it's animals in the zoo, and we'll learn all our zoo animals. We'll read books. If you happen to take playgroup red on day number 3, we do animals on the farm, and we teach you all the farm animals. So you can read some books and sing some songs about farm, you know, old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. So that's how it's done. Good. We'll read books like Brown Bear, and we'll go through it. And there's songs that we sing. We sing a lot because it's sort of like a music class as well. Also, if any of you have older siblings, we have toddler and preschool sign language on Sunday mornings with teacher Erica, which is awesome. It's like going to library story time, but she signs all the books, and she's a singer and a dancer with the San Jose Ballet. Well, on day day number 4 in playgroup blue, we'll read Goodnight Moon, and I'll teach you how to sign it. So you're home reading to the baby, and your partner is signing it here. So the baby's looking at the book, and you're tracing the words from left to right with their hand. You take their little hand and go like this, and that's tracking, okay? So I'm gonna teach you a lot that has nothing to do with sign language. It's how to raise a kid, okay? And the baby looks at the book and then looks at your partner who's signing the book, and looking at the book and looking at your partner. It's a great family affair, all right? That's the letter F. We use F when we sign family. You wrap your arms around your family. We're gonna do family signs on day number 6. This is gonna be so much fun. Let me show you this little video of little baby signing. Oh, first I gotta teach you, I'm teasing you with this video. I gotta tell you about the story about the mom driving down El Camino, the Kaiser nurse. Grandma sitting in the car next to her going, I heard that sign language slows their speech. Why did you teach the twins how to sign? What are they signing back there? And the nurse is going, actually, Mom, 30 years of evidence-based research shows that when you sign with a baby, at 24 months old, they're 3 months ahead verbally. Now, 3 months is not a lot of time for you and me, but 3 months to a 24-month-old that's speaking like a 27-month-old is phenomenally advanced developmentally. On average, they have about 50 more spoken words than children that do not sign their first 2 years of life. That's a lot, okay? And we've studied these kids, and at 36 months old, they're no longer signing, because as soon as you can talk, you drop the signs like a wet Kleenex and just start to sign, okay? And then, but at 36 months old, they're not signing anymore, and they're no longer 3 months ahead verbally anymore. They're now 11 months ahead verbally. They're still accelerating faster and faster than these kids that did not sign their first 2 years of life. How cool is that? Alrighty. And it gets better. We'll talk more about the IQ test we give these kids when they're 8 years old. It's phenomenal. The IQ, let me just cut to the chase, is skewed by about 25 percentile points rather than the 50 percentile. You know, here, let me show you a little video here. Not a video, but this is a little chart. This will tell the story. There it is. Real quick. We're going to show this again in the introductory workshop, but I'll just do a quick and fast one here. The national average of the Weiser 3 test, it's an IQ test, with these 8-year-olds, they standardized the score to be 100, okay? They had a control group at UC Davis. This is where the research was they were working with these kids, where they only gave these children 20 years ago at UC Davis 32 signs, which is nothing compared to what we teach you. We teach you about, I don't want to scare you, but we get you comfortable signing over 300 signs with 98% retention because I am such an awesome teacher. Actually, it's the methodology I use. It's called spiral teaching, and we'll talk more about that later. All right, so 102 was the control group. They were pretty close to average, but the kids that were signing when they were 8 years old, they're scoring way 12 points higher than the control group. And these are kids that don't remember signing. They're 8 years old. They don't remember that they used to sign. What up with that? Okay. You know, this 12 point, it looks like a little difference, but let me see. A new share. You don't have to be a statistician to understand a bell curve. Okay. A bell curve is easy to understand. The average score is the 50 percentile. Now the control group scored where on this chart? They scored 102. Where does 102 fall? It's right next to the score of 100. It's about the 52, 53 percentile. Where does that score of 114 fall? Wait for it. Wait for it. It's way up here in the 75 percentile. Some of the kids were in the 80s, some of them were in the 70 percentile. They're all clustered up here, not just on the verbal sector of the test. It was all sectors of the tests when they're 8 years old. Something happened 8 years or earlier to format their brain differently to score much higher on the mental aptitude test. What it is, we're still studying it. But I don't want you to get into this program because their IQs are going to be bigger, or because they have a higher interest in reading, or because their speech acquisition is much faster. There's about 12 reasons why signing is the next best thing to breastfeeding your child, which is really good. If you can breastfeed, it's wonderful. However, the one benefit out of those 12 benefits that we're going to talk more about in the introductory workshop is the bonding you get the first 2 years of life. Breastfeeding is not only nutritional, but it's a bonding experience. Skin to skin. You can smell mommy, all right? It's bonding, breastfeeding. You know what else is bonding? Language. It's the way we communicate on planet Earth. If you speak Mandarin and I don't, and you don't speak English, we can't connect very well. That's a sign for connection. We could smile at each other. We could buy each other the margaritas, okay? And just smile. Oh, this is the sign for margarita. It's on the midterm. It's running your fingers around. We got to keep it fun, all right? Around the rim of the glass. Margarita. We could just buy each other margarita and smile, but we can't really get to know each other if we can't speak the same language. But when your baby says, can I go outside and play on the white pickup truck? That was one of our babies at 15 months old. The baby's in the back seat of the car driving down El Camino. Grandma says, what are they signing back there? And mom says, they're signing, there's a Starbucks up ahead. And grandma says, no, really, what are they signing? And one was signing Starbucks over there. And her sister, her twin, 15-month-old twin sister, signed this back. That's a conversation. How cool is that? All righty. Ulani, if you're listening, if you're still on, you can testify to all of this stuff, man. All right.
So we've got some great questions coming in, actually.
All right.
If you have a few minutes to answer some of these questions.
I do. How long do I have for Q&A?
The next class starts at 12:30, so it's okay if we go past 12:15, but we'll probably wrap up in about 10 or so minutes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is show a 2-minute video, and then we'll hit the questions, because this video is proof in the, you know, a picture says 1,000 words. So let me show you this video. Un moment, s'il vous plaît. Oh, by the way, if you guys are bilingual, one of the reasons why signing is really good is it creates a bridge between your two languages. If mommy says apple and daddy says la manzana, the sign is going to be the same. So it's like closed captioning everywhere that child goes. We'll talk more about raising kids in bilingual families in the introductory workshop. All righty. Dominic, can you see the language is the most perfect? Okay, so.
Apple.
I'll give you something to eat. Good girl.
airplane.
It was just incredible that a 10-and-a-half, 11-month-old child could talk back to us. It was unbelievable.
And tell us what he wanted, and we could give it to him, and he'd be happy.
It was just great. I think it really reduced his frustration and my frustration.
Signing gives you a way to be responsive to your child. She just seemed more calm and at ease and confident out in the world.
Before she's been able to talk, we really understand what she wants, and it makes a big, big difference to us.
Hi, I'm Joseph Garcia, and today we're going to teach you how to sign with your baby.
Babies. Words cannot express how we as parents feel about them. Yet words, spoken words, are frequently the way in which we try. Unfortunately, our reliance on verbal language can be the source of unnecessary frustration for babies and parents alike. It seems babies can understand language before they can express this understanding verbally. As a result, screaming and crying are sometimes the only way that they know how to get the attention they want. By signing, however, using simple hand gestures, babies can express their thoughts, their needs, their observations in a clear way, helping reduce their frustration.
Reducing frustration. All righty. So, did you see the little baby signing medicine for my teeth? I mean, it's amazing how aware they are. And when people have the baby talking to them, they'll start to treat their children differently. I know we love them, we feed them, we hug them, we take good care of them. But when you start to engage them more because you know they understand you, you'll start to engage them more and treat them different and explain things to them. And that changes the game big time. Okay, let's take these questions. Did you want to feed me the questions, Dominique?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Bill, for going into everything. You're a wonderful teacher.
Thank you. I do my best.
Yes, and we do have 2 questions. I think I'll let you answer them how you like. But the first one is, if they go to daycare or to the grandparents, when parents go to work, do babies get frustrated if the grandparents or daycare workers don't understand what they are signing?
Yes, the answer is absolutely yes. That baby, when you drop them off and they may know 50, 60, 80 signs, 150, the kids that were signing Starbucks over there, they were up to 150 signs. They're now thrown into a situation where the daycare can't understand them. Just like all the other children that don't sign that are speaking English and Spanish and Russian. They're all talking, they're all but they don't sign. So it's frustrating for all those children to know that they can't connect very well. So if you have a daycare that doesn't sign with their babies, connect me with the daycare. We've taught Cisco systems. There's the Children's Creative Learning Lab, what is it? CCLC, Bright Horizons at Genentech. We go to daycares and get all the teachers in the infant and toddler rooms using sign language now. So at Cisco Systems, they're doing sign language at their daycare, and the parents drop them off and then they go upstairs to work. And then what I do is I come at lunchtime and the parents come down and the parents learn the sign language too. Or I see them over at Blossom too, because sometimes they don't have time at lunch to come and take a sign language class. So on Saturday mornings, it's the greatest time to learn because then your partner can learn too. This may be in the questions, but I wanted to jump in. People say, when do you start signing with your babies? You'll read 8, 9, 10 months is a good time to start, 7 months, because their language center is really connecting words with the world around them, their brain power. Also, they can do motions that won't be mistaken as a random motion. When they're born, they're just like this, but at 6, 7, 8 months old, they might be doing something like that, which may mean the sign for more. And we'll talk about how to correct a child with positive discipline. However, I've been doing this for 17 years and I say start now. no matter how old the baby is, even if you're expecting, for two reasons. Reason number one, the younger the baby is, the better you can pay attention in class. I don't teach babies in my class anything. The babies are welcome to come to the class, sit on the couch with you, but they're not required to be there at all. Most of the babies are asleep, they're nursing. I am teaching grown-ups, sleep-deprived parents, American Sign Language in a fun, interactive way. The second reason is people say, I've heard so much about this program. The kid across the street has 80 signs. I want to do it too. And they forget they're going back to work when the baby's 8 months old or 5 months old. And they don't have the time because they're now back to work. And you don't have the bandwidth or the energy to take a weekend class. You're exhausted. So start as early as you can. Next question.
Yes, the next question is if you can tell us a little more about preschool classes. Are the preschool classes geared to teaching kids or parents versus parents? And how are they geared to teaching? Maybe what the difference is. Good question. The vocabulary is the same, basically the same. Teacher Erica does the preschool classes, and it's like what age? It's from active walkers all the way up to 5 years old. And there's a lot of neurophysiological benefits of signing with older kids. The vocabulary is basically the same, but she's teaching the children. I'm teaching the sleep-deprived parents, in a fun, interactive way, a way that really works. It's called spiral teaching, where I'll preview, teach it, and then review it. Preview, teach, review. And at the end of 18 sessions, you're going to have 98% retention on all the signs because you've been dancing with me. You've been signing with me for a long, long time, and you get really good. You can't learn dancing by taking one dance class. If you take 6, you'll get better. If you take 18, you're going to get really good. So the vocabulary is the same, but when Teacher Erica's teaching, she's actually got all the kids up there, and the kids can't wait for Teacher Erica to come on. And you've heard that screen time is not good for babies. Television is not good for babies, toddlers, or most adults, right? But live Skyping with grandfather in Denver, Colorado, or Zooming with somebody in Stuttgart, Germany, those are real people that are talking to the child and talking with you. That is perfectly okay. In fact, we encourage that to stay connected with your family. And then when grandfather actually walks through the door in real life, they recognize him. We've done lots of research with kids Skyping with live people. So we'll talk more about screen time too. So she's interacting with the kids and then singing the songs, and some of the kids are singing the songs. Some of the older ones, the older siblings, are helping the baby that's in the bassinet learning how to sign. So it's a real great way to keep the signing going after the child is 2 years old, 3 years old. In elementary school, they use more and more sign language now because they found out that it's really a lot of benefits that you get with, like if you're learning how to spell words, you finger spell it, because then the baby or your first grader can not only know how to spell the words, but they can feel the phonics. They'll feel if it's spelled correctly. All right, we'll talk more about that later on. If any of you teachers, remind me that you're a teacher. That's the sign for remind me, and I'll give you lots of activities you can do in your classrooms for signing activities. Question? Yes, next question, Bill, is how does American Sign Language compare to UK Sign Language? In the UK, they use something completely different. American Sign Language came from France 200 years ago, and I'll also integrate deaf culture into the program so you'll understand the deaf community a little bit better, which makes for a more inclusive community. See all the rooftops? That's a sign for community. We're going to use this when we sing "The wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town." American Sign Language came from France 200 years ago. It sailed over to Hartford, Connecticut, where they started a school for the deaf in Hartford, Connecticut, and it spread across the United States and up into English-speaking Canada. In Great Britain, in England, where they speak English, they use British Sign Language, which is completely different. Even the alphabet is different. Instead of one-handed letters, they use two-handed letters. There's not some universal language, sign language, that all deaf people of the world must use. There's Japanese Sign Language, German Sign Language, and we talk more about that. Next question. Yes, I think we have wrapped up with the questions, but just a little comment, the best being able to sign to a deaf girl that was pushing our littles out of the way, and she just beamed. Somebody was communicating with her.
How old is a deaf girl? Are we reading this? That's the best way.
No, this is, yeah, maybe I can let Eulani.
Oh, yeah, Olani, yeah.
There we go. I unmuted you, Eulani.
Oh.
Hi, this is Lonnie. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Olani.
We started signing with Bill, gosh, when Abram was maybe 6 months old, but we had started at home before that because he was telling me he had his own sign for poo, which was biting me and screaming and doing this hammer hand. And it took me a while to figure out, oh, he has to poo, he doesn't want a nurse. So so grateful that we got into your classes, and we've been continuing. We did some online, and now that Abram is spelling, he still is actually using sign a little bit more than he has for the last year. So I want to get him into the preschool sign languages. But maybe about 8 months ago, right before this all locked down, we were at a plaza, and there was these stepping stones, and there was 3 littles that were all about 4.5. And then there was an older girl that looked about maybe 8 or 9. And she was really hands-on and physically like pushing the little kids out of the way as they jumped from one stone to another. And even I was sitting on one of these rock benches, and she was like leaping right next to me. And I had asked her a couple times, oh, could you please move over, please jump? And just nothing, right? She just kind of looked at me and moved on. And then finally, she signed that she is deaf. And I was like, oh. And so then I was able to say, like, please don't jump here, or, please watch the littles. And she just beamed, and the interaction between them. And then I told the children, I said, she can't hear you. You have to look at her eyes. And because Abram could sign, he signed a little bit to her. And the interaction between them, like right now, even just saying it, I get goosebumps. And just so grateful that day.
I'm interpreting for you. I just signed goosies. Yeah, I still get goosies right now. Look at this. Just hearing this story, I'm getting goosies.
And she ran to her parents. She just like ran to her parents and was just like, jittering on. I couldn't, really fast about signing and like pointing and just like smiling. And so, just being able to say, please, please stop, or please, don't jump.
Well, Olani, that is so good. And I've heard some stories like that, because from the signs that we learn in this class, the kids on the playground can sign with the deaf kid on the playground. And now that deaf kid has a friend, all right? And that deaf kid knows that not only that boy signs, but his parents sign too. And it makes it for a real, this is the sign for happy, all right? We'll talk more about that. Thank you so much, Ulani. Have I told you I love you today?
Thanks, love you too, Bill.
All right.
We're getting to the end. We're gonna have prenatal yoga starting at 12:30. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Bill, for joining us today. And if anybody still has questions for Bill, the link is to sign up for his classes. We put the FAQ in the chat. We put the link for his classes, testimonials down in there as well. And you can register today. We're available by email, via phone. I'm going to put those links just down in the chat again in case you've just joined us. But we're just really so thankful to have you with us, Bill, today. You're a wonderful teacher, everything. So
thank you so much. And may I just put in like a 5-second plug? When you do, and if you do shop on Amazon, go to Amazon Smile and connect Blossom to Amazon Smile. And that makes a difference. Like 0.5% of all the sales on Amazon Smile that you buy on Amazon goes to support Blossom. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It takes about 3 minutes to set up, but it's just, and then what you do is you drop that website down onto your iPhone. So it looks like an app, but you're actually going to your browser window. And that helps. every penny counts when you're trying to keep a store running like Blossom, and we got to help out. It takes a village to keep Blossom open, and so we need all your help.
Thanks so much, Bill. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're so grateful to have you as a part of our community, and thanks for that plug for Amazon Smile too. That's a great reminder to everyone as easy ways to help Blossom stay with us. And
Alrighty.
We're really excited. Again, those links are down in the chat. We put them both on the live open house online and also in the chat here. So if you are interested in signing up for Bill's classes, now that you've seen the amazing teaching that he does, he knows so much about signing, about childhood development. He's a great friend, great teacher. And so, follow those links and join him online. You will have a good time.